We are continuing our coverage of the death of Queen Elizabeth II. She was the longest monarch to reign over the UK. And many in Washington state may remember in 1983, the Queen paid a visit to Seattle, even taking a ride on the monorail. So we're joined now by Feliks Banel. He's a local historian and expert in all things Seattle. So thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Yeah, it's my pleasure.
So that 1983 visit, she was invited by then President Ronald Reagan, and it was actually her first time on the West Coast, is my understanding.
Yeah, she'd been to Canada before, but the one and only time she came to Seattle was almost 40 years ago. She arrived at Boeing Field in the morning, went out and gave a speech at Heck Edmondson Pavilion, then came to Seattle, and then went downtown, walked up Fifth Avenue after riding on the monorail with then Mayor Charles Royer. You can see in the photographs, he has his hands behind his back. A couple days earlier, the mayor of San Diego had mistakenly reached out and touched the Queen, which is a big no-no.
That's a big oops, right?
So Mayor Royer told me many years ago he was very careful. He kept his hands clasped behind his back. He didn't want to accidentally create an international incident by touching the Queen.
I know this is a long time ago, but, you know, what is the biggest memory from that visit for you?
Well, I was actually there. I mean, I was kind of a weird little kid.
Yeah.
And I got out of school and took the bus to downtown Seattle. And I was standing by that little bridge, Seattle Center, between the Armory and the monorail station.
Right.
We saw the Queen and Prince Philip walk across there and then wave down to us peasants down there on the ground. And it was very exciting because this area is so closely tied to Great Britain in our history. I mean, in the 19th century, we could be standing right now. This could be British territory if the negotiations had gone differently in 1846. It very easily could have been part of Canada, part of Great Britain. So the history here, after the Indigenous history, is very closely tied to Great Britain. So, and she's been on the throne so long, people just love her, and they know, most people, it's the only Queen they've ever known.
Yeah, you know what? The Queen, I think I can say, many people respected her for her sense of duty, and she never wavered from that duty in those 70 years, despite all of the challenges and, you know, all of the things that happened over the years in history. But yet, in a way, it almost seems like we still didn't know that much about her for being in the spotlight for 70 years as well. Would you agree?
Yeah, she was able to be very neutral, like on the notion of Brexit, whether or not the UK should leave the European Union. No one can really tell. What does she really think? No one really knows anymore. But she also just had this kind of dignity and quiet sort of sense of her, I don't know, the magnitude of her leadership. She wasn't obviously making the call about big decisions about, you know, that's the Prime Minister's job in the UK. But she still, from World War II, when she put on a uniform and worked during the war in the domestic military service, to all her service as Princess Elizabeth and then Queen for 70 years, yeah, we're not going to see anything like her in any of our lifetimes, that's for sure.
So what do you think her legacy is really going to be?
That's really hard to predict because the royal family has been so in flux in the last couple decades. It's been so much turmoil, but it seems like we're past that now. And now it's up to her son, now King Charles III. I think he will shape her legacy by what he's able to do. Can he measure up to her as a monarch? Probably not. He won't be on the throne nearly as long, but he can act like she did and act in her spirit and recall her memory as he goes about being king for the next, who knows how many years he'll be king.
Yeah, so much to talk about. I know you're an expert in all things Seattle, so we really appreciate you being here today.
My pleasure.